With the Prince of Persia remake coming out finally October 5th. No, but seriously. There is a new Prince of Persia coming out January 18th of 2024, unless that date changes somehow.
Stay sharp. Prince Hassan can't be...
Prince of Persia The Lost Crown. It's been quite a long time, almost 13 years, I believe, 14 by the time The Lost Crown actually does come out, since we've had a Prince of Persia game. And needless to say, everyone's reactions when it was first revealed were about this. Since then, everyone in the comments is basically this.
Hey! The sheriff is in this! What are you saying? The sheriff is near! No, gotta blame it, dang blame it! The sheriff is in this!
And I'm here to tell you, everybody, it's going to be alright. Ubisoft has been going back to the roots with Assassin's Creed, its style, presentation, and some of its mechanics. And now Prince of Persia is going back to its roots with a 2D Metroidvania platformer action game. The original Prince of Persia's back in the 80s and 90s were 2D side-scrolling platformers with lots and lots of traps. They were incredibly difficult games, combat was really brutal, and the platforming was no joke. And now with Prince of Persia The Lost Crown, we're actually getting another 2D Prince of Persia game. There's actually been more 2D Prince of Persia games than there have been fully 3D Prince of Persia games. So this is really nothing new, and it actually shocks me that people think this is something new. I understand everybody wants the Sands of Time remake, and eventually a Warrior Within and Two Thrones remake. The Lost Crown is being headed by a different branch of the Ubisoft Montreal team who's working on the Sands of Time remake. Sands of Time remake is still coming out, it's just gonna be a while. Meanwhile, we have this to look forward to. It's actually really disheartening that we're getting a new Prince of Persia game that everybody should be excited for if they are a fan, but people just can't seem to get over the fact that the character you're playing as isn't the prince. He's part of the Immortals, which is historically the Persian like special forces or something. He's part of that group. He is not the prince. He has a name. His name is Sargon, and he's basically the prince's bodyguard. The prince in this universe is still a kid, gets kidnapped, and the Immortals have to go find him on Mount Kaf. It's also interesting to note that this game so far, from the world design to the lore that they've shown, to even some of the trailers, has more Persian mythology associated with it than the Sands of Time trilogy ever really had. It's also going back to that Arabian Nights feel that was Sands of Time. You can rewind time like you could in Sands of Time. The air dash move that you get is basically a wall run, animated like one anyway. The main character you play as even has the Sands of Time default look that's been associated with Sands of Time ever since it came out. It's sad that people can't seem to just get around the fact that the character you're playing as is a black person, or at least darker skinned than the other Prince of Persia games ever have been, even though when you actually look at the cutscenes, he seems like the exact same tan as everyone else.
Stay sharp. Prince Hassan can't be far now.
Something's not right here. We must proceed with caution.
Sure, Menelaus. You can scurry from shadow to shadow like frightened vermin.
I'm serious, Orod. There's a strange presence here.
I can feel it too. There's only one way to find out.
Let's go then.
Bara, This is Azad, one of Ardashir's men.
Long dead, judging by the rot.
How is that possible? They left not long before us.
We are not welcome here.
Stay on your guard. We will find the Prince and Anahita.
We go east.
We don't go anywhere. You'll only slow me down. You're on your own.
I actually thought they took character inspiration from the Elliot Knight Sinbad series from 2012. That's what immediately jumped to my mind when I first saw this design. I also think it's just weird that people are saying this isn't a Prince of Persia game, when it clearly looks like a Prince of Persia game. It plays like a Prince of Persia game with Metroidvania elements. Wall running, jumping, sword fighting, it's all there, just in a 2D plane. The combat is fast and brutal, just like it was for Warrior Within and the Two Thrones and Sands of Time series. Platforming is just straight up parkour now, like it's always been ever since then. People just seem to want a proper, fully 3D game, despite Prince of Persia started out as a 2D game, and as I already mentioned, there's been a lot more 2D Prince of Persias than there have been 3D. The music is very traditional Arabian Nights, Prince of Persia, Sands of Time style. Just give it a listen here in this Game Informer gameplay, as well as one of the Completionists videos when he did a interview with a bunch of the developers. He talked to the guy doing the music. They get a preview of the music you guys can hear here.
The music still evolving, still synchronized, but just changing over time and over the context of the situation. Let's move to...
What makes it...
I will admit, I'm not a fan of the art style like so many others seem to be as well. I love the Clone Wars just as much as anybody else, but ever since that series came out, it seems every cartoon, every video game that has to be stylized is just taking from Clone Wars. I know a lot of people are saying Fortnite, Overwatch hero shooter vibes. I get that too, but those games were seriously seeming to be inspired by the Clone Wars art style from 10 years ago. A lot of people are also saying it looks like a mobile game. Despite mobile games are incredibly visually stunning nowadays, a lot of them come over to consoles. There's a new Assassin's Creed hitting it for mobile. The new iPhone is going to have Assassin's Creed Mirage running on mobile. Prince of Persia The Lost Crown here is being optimized for Switch. That's one of the target platforms because of Switch to play it on the go. I kind of get that too. The art style is simplified, so I understand why people are saying that. But that doesn't mean that mobile games can't look good. One of the mobile games that I always look at when comparing visuals for mobile games is this thing called Epic of Kings. It's part of the developers who made this one God of War ripoff, Garshasp, Persian mythology again there, and that was made with Unreal Engine 4, and it ran on your phone, and it looked really fucking good. The argument for mobile gaming doesn't really hold water anymore for anything, not just Prince of Persia, for anything, simply because you have games out now and coming out for mobile phones that are literally just mid to low end console or PC gaming. The other thing I think people really need to look at is that Jordan Mechner, the creator of Prince of Persia himself, is backing this and is totally behind it because it's a return to the 2D Prince of Persia roots. It actually looks really good, and you can't tell me that watching this gameplay from the Game Informer preview and some others, the Completionists and everything, it doesn't look good. It looks like a solid Metroidvania and Prince of Persia combined. The developers seem pretty passionate from all the interviews that I've watched, and they really do want to make a good Prince of Persia game first and a great Metroidvania second. So it's totally there. It's literally just the art style and the character of the color of the character's skin that is setting everyone ablaze, and It's insane to me. I definitely think you shouldn't call yourself a Prince of Persia fan if you can't even look at this with a sort of objective eye and look at it for its gameplay and not just its visual quality, or that the character you're playing is a black dude or Akkadian or whatever it is. Like, that's ridiculous. A lot of Prince of Persia fans, I get it. A lot of you, Sands of Time was your first Prince of Persia. I had the originals for Nintendo and everything back then, so those were mine. And then, obviously Sands of Time is great. It is a lightning in a bottle series. It was fantastic for what it was. I think every Prince of Persia game has been pretty good so far. I do have fond love for the Dreamcast Prince of Persia, despite that game sucking, quote unquote, way back then. It's not just Sands of Time, guys. There is more to Prince of Persia than just Sands of Time, and like I said, it started as a 2D series. There's been a lot of 2D games. Can't really write that off. I understand everybody wants the Sands of Time remake. It's coming, don't worry, but I don't think that you shouldn't check this out. The Lost Crown actually looks really, really good. It's also steeped in Persian mythology, like I mentioned. There's a video I've linked down below where a guy or another YouTuber is going over all the Persian mythology simply from the trailers and what the potential bosses could be based on their Persian mythological designs. All I know is it's going to be fine. I definitely think you guys should all check out the Lost Crown for what it is going to be, which is seemingly a pretty good Prince of Persia game and a pretty good Metroidvania. It's going to be alright, everyone. It's going to be alright. I've been Calypso. I'll see you in the next one.